if we want to run through the B&B, it would probably be a good idea.
Yes, yes, and
Yeah, probably if you, give her the Alto Friendly book.
Well, Keith, I think we can
I've
go
done that
ahead.
already.
Yeah.
Okay. You have your playlist, and I hope you will be enjoying these songs that were handpicked with love. I adore playing most of these, especially, I like playing all of them, but some of them are really my very favorites. This first one is, I put a little more information on the playlist because I wasn't sure if I was going to be talking a lot. I had a tooth extracted a few hours ago,
Ooh.
and I really just wanted to come home and go to bed, to tell you the truth. But I think the bleeding is pretty much stopped,
Oh, good.
so I won't be unsightly.
We'll let you know.
But let me know if it starts drooling. Like I told my friends, I said, when the time comes here at Canterbury that I do start drooling or have, please, you good friends of mine, let me know that. Jerome Kern and Oscar Hammerstein II. This is one of their most famous songs, and it's comes from a classic musical play called Showboat from 1927. Oscar Hammerstein, those of you who have come to my programs before know he is, I talk a lot about him. He is a master wordsmith with a poet's heart. That probably sums him up as best as any words can. And in this song, Can't Help Loving That Man, Oscar wanted to really emphasize intense love. And he used the words that he thought brought that out were fish born to swim and birds compelled to fly. Nothing could be more intense. A force of nature. So, Can't Help Loving That Man, and it's from 1920s. It will remain, I think, forever one of those songs that's just never gonna grow old.
We'll just keep that here.
a little, come up to a lot more current time, Burt Bacharach and Hal David. They wrote some very interesting music. It's sometimes not the easiest to play. It has interesting tempos, but this one is melodic and it's, they were very prolific writers. This one has endured through the time, but it didn't catch on right at the first. It took a team of a brother and sister who you probably all know. Who was that, Bill?
Carpenter.
The Carpenters. The Carpenters came along in 1970, and they had this, the two of them had a very warm sound to their music, and this is a rather warm kind of sounding tune. So it made a hit. It became a hit that first year. And so Close to You. Fairly long playlist, so we're going to just play through one time on most of these. This I didn't, I have one more in here. This Young at Heart is a fun little song. I didn't have much to say on it, did I? My mouth feels like it's about 5 feet tall.
Ouch.
This was written by a woman named Carolyn Lay. She wrote the words for this. Her father had been a very dynamic, vibrant man, and he took ill, and he was went into a home and got very depressed and had a real negative attitude, which is totally the reversal of the kind of person he'd been. And so the words that she wrote were really his words before he became ill, and they were uplifting, and for, you maybe know some of these, the go to extremes with impossible dreams. You can laugh at your dreams, fall apart at the seams, but life gets more exciting with each passing day, and love is either in your heart or on the way. Don't you know that it's worth every treasure on earth to be young at heart? They're very nice little lyrics. But this is one that Nat King Cole was given this opportunity to be the first to sing this song when Carolyn Lay offered this to him. And he turned it down. And he said ever since then, I really goofed because he thought it was really more for geriatric set, sort of like us. But who came along, but recorded it a little later and made it a fabulous hit, which he did on a lot of songs, was Frank Sinatra. So, Young at Heart. Something in me wants to go back and play a little more of some of these songs. They're really fun. Let's see, what's the next one that we have? That's Amore.
That's Amore, that comes from this little book right here, I believe. No, it doesn't. So much for organization, goodness. Well,
There it is.
it's interesting,
The Italians associate love, of course that's Amore, meaning that's love. And in this song, they use it to equate it with pizza pie. The moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie. That's Amore. And when the world seems to shine like you've had too much wine, these things are important to the Italians. That's the depth of their it means a lot in their understanding of love, apparently. But it's a fun little song.
That's, now we're through with that book. See, when I do that, that means I'm just too lazy to make copies of all those pieces. I just, have made lots of copies. This is, Love Story is a piece that we know, most of us know the melody. It's very haunting. It's been compared to almost like something Mozart would write.
Are you skipping a couple intentionally?
Am I just what?
Skipping a couple intentionally?
No,
How about someone to watch over me?
how about that? I know, I probably should have stayed home today, is what I should have.
That's, okay.
I'll keep you honest.
Well, how can you go wrong? The Gershwin brothers, George and Ira, wrote this, and it's the standard. It's tested the test of time to make it a ballad, a standard, and I suspect it will go on forever. I do worry, though, a bit about our younger generations, and if they probably never hear these kind of songs, so I don't know really who's going to keep them going. We'll do our best here, but what a shame if they don't have a longevity. To someone to watch over me.
There Was You.
Till There Was You. Meredith Wilson. Took him 5 years to write all the music for this Music Man. This is a piece, of course, that our little librarian, Lillian, wasn't it Lillian?
Marion.
Marion, the librarian, had this huge crush on the professor, Harold Hill. And she was smitten, and she just found that this love she had found opened up her eyes to a whole world of beauty that she'd never known was there before. That's what love does, doesn't it? Gives us a new set of eyes. Okay, Till There Was You.
Now Love Story.
Now Love Story, that the melody I think is far more familiar than the words. The words are a testament to a true love story, the sweetest story that is older than the sea, the simple truth about the love she brings to me. Where do I start? With her first hello, she gave me a meaning to this empty world of mine. There'd never be another love, another time. She came into my life and made living fine. She fills my heart with very special things, with angel songs, with wild imaginings. She fills my soul with so much love. Anywhere I go, I'm never. Those are pretty big sentences. That's someone that's known love. You probably can't write that if you haven't really experienced it. So thank you, Carl Sigman, and music by Francis Lee. Blue Moon, I remember I played this a year ago, must have been last year around this time, because I have notes that show me I was commenting that Pam Sanders was going to have a blue moon for her birthday. She has a birthday the 31st of October, and there was a blue moon last year, maybe the year before. I've kind of lost track of time. Blue Moon is one of those songs that was one of the best that actually, let's see if we get this correct here. Richard Rodgers and Lawrence Hart have written a lot together. This was the only one that they wrote together that wasn't for a musical. It just stood on its own. It didn't need a musical to back it. It didn't need a film to back it. It was just that kind of song that took off. But it's interesting. It started off like many songs, like Stardust, I can think of. It was written originally as a fast, and Showboat was another one. Originally written as a fast piece, a dance piece, if you can imagine. And then along the way, people slowed it down and it's become the slower ballad that we all love, Blue Moon. maybe Oscar Hammerstein, he wrote the words, and Richard Rogers. That was such a fine team. It won the Academy Award, the best original song in 1945 from State Fair. Did any of you remember seeing State Fair?
The movie.
I remember in 45.
Oh, it was a movie.
Maybe some of you were too young. That's probably it. Well, might as well be spring, and it's a lovely little tune. To do that, give it a little class. Okay, what's the next one here? Might as well Moon River. Moon River. Remember Henry Mancini, and it was Leslie Caron, I believe, that played Gigi in a film, and this was from a different film, from Breakfast at Tiffany's, but she was just this sweet little adorable thing that broke onto the scene, and came from this, Moon River came out of this Breakfast at Tiffany's. Okay. Oh, mio bambino caro. Oh, my dear papa, Mr. Puccini. Gianni Puccini wrote this 1918. It was in this opera.
That you can,
You can look at, I'm not going to try to pronounce that.
Gianni Schicchi.
Gianni Cicci.
Gianni Schicchi.
Thank you. Thank you. And he wrote this in the style, intentionally in the style of Puccini. I'm sorry, that's another song. This is Puccini's song. That was another piece. But it's a soprano aria from this opera, and it's simple. To me, it just speaks so loudly that it's a simple, so often that carries some of the greatest beauty. still get chills. I just get chills, and tears are right there. They're just almost on my own. Well, most of you are familiar with where this is from, Les Miserables. And it originally was from a French novelist named Victor Hugo, who in 1862 wrote a book of, maybe some of you know this, I should know that. It came from his book, and it, anyway, this is a sad lament from the woman that is walking the streets of Paris. She's heartsick, and she is sad about the lost love that she has. But On My Own is another one of those songs that you just don't forget. It's kind of hallowing. It's so beautiful. this is why I was getting this mixed up with the French Victor Hugo. This Cats, history with cats, it comes from T.S. Eliot's book of poems, Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats. And Griselda sings this in kind of remembering when she was a glamour puss. She was quite the glamour cat, but she ain't that no more. And she's kind of singing this, she's lamenting that. But it's a song that they sing it several times in here, and this is the one that he, unknowingly it sounds, he really wanted to write it a little bit like Puccini, but he was afraid that he was taking some of the actual music of Puccini, and he asked his father to listen to this piece, and if it sounded what it sounded like. And his father said he thought it sounded like $1 million. And so he went ahead and used it. But you can hear, now that you've heard a little of Puccini and a little of these, there's a lot of commonality in them, memory. One way or another. Well, a nice one to end on is The Entertainer. The Entertainer was Scott Joplin, of course. And way back in 1902, he wrote this. it didn't really take off too much. His first one, Maple Leaf Rag, did, but this one had to lay dormant until Marvin Hamlish put together the score for the film The Sting. And in The Sting, he uses this as a theme that runs throughout the movie, and it became, Joplin became a big musical hero again, and that was in 1974. But Joplin was a sad character. It was one of those sad tales. He had a flourish when he came out, but what's to say? He was the most popular composer of the piano rags age, but he died. And the first 2 decades of the whole century was ragtime. And he was it. He wrote the ragtime pieces. He was Mr. Ragtime. He died in a mental hospital in 1917. He was crushed, he was impoverished, he was just, it's a very sad tale. So, but he left us some really wonderful ragtime music. The Entertainer. Thank you, Keith, for what you do. And be safe. It's nice to be back here. I tell you, if it hadn't been a live audience today, I would be up in my Betty Bye resting. But the live audience is just, it's like nothing else. It gives me juice to play, and I'm glad that you all came. Thank you.